Hey, DGB sisters. Hello, Donna Ray sisters. If you are new to this community, I am Donna Ray, aka Donna Rudowitz, a therapist as well as a relationship coach who help women reclaim their power, recover their brilliance, and attract true love after divorce. And this community is where we are coming together as a family. We're coming together as a collective. Our hearts might have been broken. We may have felt lost for so long. Our family and friends are good and they mean well, but there's just something in our heart. We're just not able to put those pieces together. And if that is you, welcome home, because this is a collective where we have probably in prior lifetimes made a soul contract to meet again here. And my message and my teaching is to let you know that your divorce is not who you are. It's an event. That's all that it is. I'm not minimizing the pain. I'm not minimizing the struggle, but it's an event and you are home now. And it's time for you not only to feel the love in your heart for yourself, but to ready yourself for the true love that you know is in your heart, because divorce is not here to hurt you. I always like to say our divorce happens for us and not to us. It's more of a conduit that has cracked you open for the life and the love that you're really meant for. And you may say to me, Donna, this is absolute bullshit. I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, how could the most difficult and hardest thing in my life that has come through a tsunami that has impacted my family, my friends, my work, how could this possibly be good for me? And the reason being is, like, for me, when I first went through my divorce and even post my divorce, I remember being on the bathroom floor, just crying out because I just didn't know what else to do. I was used to being able to understand how to fix things. I was used to being able to understand a solution and get to it and be able to implement that solution and get the result. But where I was, no matter what I was doing, I was not, it wasn't working. I still felt so alone. I felt I didn't know where I was going to be. I felt feelings of, will this be the end of where, like, will I die alone? I mean, these are all things I would never share with family and friends because I didn't want them to think that, oh my gosh, like this is, she's really going downhill. But this is really what I was thinking. And what I realized was that my divorce didn't come in to shut me down. It actually came in to awaken me. It actually came in to show me something that I didn't even know that I needed to know because it forced me to learn. Now, what I know now, which I didn't know then, is I felt so alone and I felt as if things were coming to an end. Like, how was I going to rebuild? How was I going to do this? It felt like destruction, but what I know now, again, what I didn't know then was my angels, my guides, my source, my higher self would have never allowed me to fully annihilate myself. But my soul and my spirit and my guides were allowing me to experience what it is that I need to experience because that's what I needed to truly heal, to rebuild, to finally practice that muscle of being worthy of who I am and feeling worthy in myself. Because on the outside, it looked like I had it all together. I had a home, I had good friends, good family, I was successful in the corporate world, but inside it was a complete mess. And when you're on this journey, it's hard when someone says to you, just get over it or get through it, because I'm sure you've heard it where your friends and family are letting you know, like, what a great catch you are and just to get over it. But what they don't understand is that there's so many pieces to a divorce that cannot be experienced until you experience it. And one of the examples I think about is just because there's pen and ink on a piece of paper doesn't mean that we still don't love our ex in a certain way, or we're not grieving the dreams and the plans that we had with that person. Because what I like to say is we separate the person from the behavior, which means we may still love the person, but we can simply not tolerate the behavior. That is why we are getting divorced, right? If we were able to tolerate the behavior, or if your ex was able to show up and be the man you needed him to be and to have the conversations that you needed, and the two of you together were collaborating, you wouldn't be in this situation. So I'm giving you the permission slip that even though you can't accept and tolerate the behavior, it is okay to still have feelings and love for your ex. It is okay to grieve the dreams you thought you were going to have. What I would say is we just don't want to stay there. We don't want that to be our identity, right? Because each day we want to be working towards loving ourselves more. We want to be working towards loving our future versus loving our past because the past has forgotten us. It's time for us to forget it, right? We could look back and take the things that matter, take the things that mean the most, bring them forward, but you're not going to be happy and you're not going to create the love you want and the life you want, and you're not going to be able to give back to the universe the very soul and spirit of who you are if you're stuck, if you're broken, if you feel fearful, if you're worried, and if you're uncertain. And one of the things in my learning that I do here at Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond and Donna Ray Love is I share with you how I come up with my findings and how I did it as a woman who didn't know how I was going to, you know, pay the bills, manage the house, take care of the kids. I wanted to be remarried again, and all of those pieces of just simply not knowing. I like to open, I don't like to gatekeep, I like to share. And one of the things that I am currently looking at, and something I've learned in the past, and it's part of what I think has gotten my clients the results where we heal in 12 weeks or less, is because we're not looking at opinion. We're not looking at Donna's thoughts of just throwing a noodle against the wall. We're looking at science. We're looking at fact. We're looking at quantum physics, epigenetics. We're looking at sacred geometry. And just recently, sacred geometry came up into my practice again, into my thought process. And what sacred geometry is, it's a pattern that is behind everything that you see in life. So it is part of what is known to be from source. And everything that you see, there's something that's called the flower of life. So, what science has shown us is everything that we see in the people, in the plants, in the water, in the animals, in the flowers, in the grass, every cell, every atom is based upon this flower of life, this sacred geometry pattern. Now, why does this matter to you? I want to show you something so you could see what I'm talking about. So let me go ahead and I'm going to share my screen here so you could see this. So here's what I did. Now I'm just it's very simple. I just went to Google. I searched sacred geometry, the flower of life. And it's the flower of life is a geometric symbol consisting of multiple evenly spaced overlapping circles arranged in a flower-like pattern. They're often found in sacred geometry. It's believed to be the blueprint of the universe, containing with it the basic patterns right here, basic patterns of all living things and representing interconnectedness of all creation. So, what it is, it's formed by 19 overlapping circles that create a symmetrical pattern that resemble a flower with a six-fold symmetry. Now, the symbolism behind the flower of life, it's considered a visual representation of the connections between all living things and potentially holding a record of all living things. And what that means is that in this flower of life, there is a record since creation began. And it has a record of since creation began to where we are now. It's holding a record and it's been found everywhere. It's been different cultures, different countries, and it's believed to be the fundamental pattern of creation, suggesting that all life emerges from the same source. Now, I'll tell you why this is important, but what I also wanted to share with you is if you don't have Gaia television, it is my recommendation that you do so. I absolutely love Gaia television, and one of the things that I watch, it's like $9.99 a month, I think it is. It maybe it went up to $12.99, I don't know, but you could go in and you could educate yourself on what sacred geometry is because this is what it looks like. So let me just give you an example here, right, of what this is available to you in Gaia. And I am not, by the way, I am not part of Gaia. I'm not getting compensated by it. It's just that this is where I go and this is my learning that has helped me not only to eradicate the pain of the past, but to fully step in who I am to this is not only the piece, but this is one of the pieces, right? In my learning and I'm now remarried. My daughters are now 24, 25 going to be, and 22. One's a teacher, one's a nurse. We went through shit. But the difference is that I wasn't going to let my divorce be the ending. I needed to go through that. I needed to hit rock bottom. I needed to break open in order to become the woman whom I always was. And God, universe, and source knew that my divorce was a conduit to that. I don't believe that God says, hey, let me create a divorce and let me create you going through the worst thing you could possibly do in your life. But what I do believe is that there's an opportunity, and that opportunity can be used. But you have free will, my friend. So you are either going to choose as this is the worst thing that's happening in your life, or you could choose it as this is the best thing that's happening in your life. Now, your friends may think you're crazy because they're like, what do you mean your divorce is the best thing? But it is, because it's allowing you to learn who you are and break open to the woman whom you always were. You just didn't have the right garden to grow in. What I like to say is that we are a seed, and if we are planted in soil that doesn't have water, that doesn't have nutrients, that is dry, we're not going to expand, right? We're not going to break open. But when you put us in soil that has water, that has food, that has nurturing, that has light, we're going to break open and become the mighty oak tree that we were meant to be. So with this, do your research, go on Gaia and do the same thing that I'm doing, and look up sacred geometry, because this, you could go in here and you could learn. So I'm going to stop share here, and let's go back to why that's important to you. When we're in a space where our outside environment is not looking, and by the way, it's 11:11 on the clock. I love it. I wish I had my phone so I could show you, but 11:11 on the clock, which are great angel numbers. But going back to when we're in a space where we know that we want an outcome. So for the women that I work with, is that we want peace in our life. We want to have the good relationships. We want to have repair. We want to have self-confidence. We want to have worth, and we want to be sharing our life with a partner. Whether you want to be married, whether you want it to be a long-term committed relationship, that is totally up to you. But we know that we're not meant to live life alone. We know that we know that we have been, but it's not why we are here. We are here to share our life and be part of something with someone, right? So, and when that environment that you're living in is not reflecting it, and no matter what you do is coming back and giving you just more data of just how hard it is, or there's no good guys out there, or just how lonely you are, and you are noticing all of the lack in your life, you are going to be creating more lack, because the universe knows no difference of what's good for you and what's bad for you. It just knows what you're focusing on the most. But the question becomes like, how do I do this, Donna? How do I find love? How do I get back to the peace? How do I get back to love in myself? How do I get back out of the loop of fear and uncertainty? Because that loop of fear and uncertainty is meant to keep you in confusion. It's meant to keep you stuck. It's meant to keep you small. It's meant for you to shrink back and say, no, maybe I can't do this. Maybe that's not possible. But that's not the energy that we live in. Here at the Donna Ray Method for Finding Love and Divorcing Gracefully and Beyond Sisters, we are in a flame energy. We're not listening to what the world says. We're connecting to source. Herein lies the reason why I'm sharing with you sacred geometry and the flower, right? The pattern that I just showed you, right? The flower of life, because this flower of life is giving you the opportunity to learn that you don't need outside sources, that you don't need your friends and your family to tell you and to guide you what to do and what to say and how to live and how to find peace and how to get love, because you're not connecting with that chaotic energy anymore. You are going to connect with source energy. You're going to connect with who you truly are, because that's going to lead you to the right coach. That's going to lead you to the right curriculum. That's going to lead you to the right information, to the right tools, to the right things that you need. But you can't see where you need to go if you are being bombarded by chaotic energy. And I hate to say it, but we are fighting principalities of this world. We're not fighting people, we're fighting energy. And so many people want our energy, and so many people want us to be doing for them. That's where people pleasing comes in, right? People want us to do, and gosh, companies want us to buy their material, and there's always always an arterial motive that is not from us. Our operator is God, universe, and source. The outside, the operator that's red AI energy, that's chaotic energy, that source is not looking to do for you. It's looking to do for itself. So it's going to keep you confused because that feeds their energy. Do you see? So we need to unplug from that and we need to plug into flame energy. But how do we plug into flame energy if we don't even know where to start? Of how do we do it? It sounds great, but how do we do it? This is how you do it: by stumbling across my video, by going to Gaia and watching sacred geometry, by finding and taking these breadcrumbs that are being passed down to you along the way and then doing more research on it, bringing it in, asking for guidance, asking for resources, asking source to say, and not just begging, but commanding that I am a woman of love. I am a woman who's in love. I am a woman who's living my life strong. I am a woman where resources come to me easily and effortlessly, where I can't wait to wake up because I can't wait to see who I'm going to meet. I can't wait to see what information I'm going to have. Of course, I understand how I'm going to get to the next part and how I'm going to bring in the love of my life because I'm going to be given the exact path. I don't have to figure it out. And that's what I'm giving you, is that when we as women use the resources that kept us alive in survival and managed our family and what we do at work, those resources are great for what they're used for, but they're not great for bringing love in. They're not great for connecting to source. They're not great because essentially I'm asking you to do something totally different than that. When we're in survival mode, we're not creative. We're only looking about how to survive. When we're in flame energy mode, we're not the ones that are doing or being or hustling. We don't have to be more. We don't have to do more. We're not comparing. We're actually getting rid of all of that and we're receiving, right? It's a completely different energy. And so that's the reason why women could stay in therapy for years and years and years and never get to their end results, because what we're talking about are things we don't want. We're talking about the past. We're talking about what hurts us. We're talking about where we've been hurt and how it feels. And albeit there's a time and a place for that. And sure, we need to release that and talk about it, but we don't want to keep talking about it for years and years and years, because if you're what I would say your 3D environment in front of you isn't reflective of the love you want, look at the words that are coming out of your mouth, because out of the mouth, right, out of the heart, the mouth will speak. So if you're saying on the 5% of your brain you want love, but yet the 95% of your subconscious patterns is still angry as fuck at your ex-husband and resentful and just you're just in that place. Well, you're not going to be attracting the things that you want because you're going to be attracting what's in your heart. So if you're ever wondering what's really my subconscious level, what is that? Just ask yourself, how do I respond when I'm frustrated? Do I respond in love or do I respond in anger and in hate? Do I respond in peace or do I respond in confusion? Do I feel like I could handle this and I've got this, or do I feel like I can't? I don't know how to do this. I just need someone else to figure this out. That is going to give you right then and there, are you in flame energy or are you in chaotic energy? Because love is not chaotic. And to understand love and to understand flame, this is your beginning. Go and get into that sacred geometry. Get that membership to Gaia. Follow me. And if this information, by the way, is helping you and it's giving you a perspective, please share this with your friends and your family, even if they're not going through a marriage or divorce or separation. Whatever they're up against that's keeping them stuck, they could apply this knowledge to whatever that is, because this message needs to get out. This is a message where I have been divinely guided to be here with you. There is no coincidences. I think about miracles and synchronicities only. This is a soul contract. You are not meant to stay in a state of suffering, and you likely are in a state of suffering way too long. And that's not because that is your normal. It's not because of that's where you're supposed to be. You just haven't found the right tools yet. So here is where you're going to learn those tools, because remember, your connection, your job isn't to be more, to do more, to learn more. Your job is to release. It's to unlearn what no longer serves us and begin to allow the resources in to serve you. Because our God, our creator, our source is not a God and creator and source that is going to come in and is going to override your free will. You have free will. You have a billion different outcomes that your life could be living at any given moment. While we have time here on this earth in 3D, in the realm of science, in quantum physics, there is no timeline. We are eternal beings. And so you could be stuck in this loop for eternity. It's not what we want. We want to change this now. So not only does your life change, but your children's life change and their children's lives change. It's time to break the loop of relationships that don't work, of divorce, of separation, of not being standing up to our worth and our value, of not being happy, of not giving back, because this whole purpose of why we're here is to explore as a human, to contribute what we're learning, to contribute our energy to the flame. But if our flame, nefarious sources could come through, and if our flame is kept low, if our flame is kept dim, then we're not contributing, right? We're actually taking. And that makes the nefarious sources very, very, very happy, because that's what feeds. There are sources that feed off of your energy, feed off of sadness, feed off of worry, feed off of fear. Now we've got to unplug from those, and we've got to tap into flame energy, which is calm, which is peaceful. It's like a frequency that you are hearing, and that you're able to then find out what is your next step, or you'll be divinely guided to pick up that book, or you'll be divinely guided to take a detour that's going to lead you into a meeting that's going to lead you to the job you wanted, or meet the person that you're supposed to be in love with. This is how the universe works. But if we're constricted and we're fearful and we're uncertain, we're operating at a low level, we don't see it. So begin to open up your eyes, begin to ask for the guides, begin to get into that mode of not begging, but commanding. I am a woman who everything works out for me. Of course that this divorce is going to lead me to my higher self. Of course, this is going to lead me to better relationships with my children. Even though I don't see it now, you may not know how to do it. You may need coaching and support along the way, which is what I do. And that's okay too. Remember, your ability to learn, to grow, and to step into this new version of your identity, you're going to get the right resources. You're going to get the right coaches. You're going to get the right tools when you're in this space of commanding and opening up and being and asking them to come in, right? To over your free will is saying, please, angels, guide, source, come in. I would love to see this. I would love your guidance. That is when things begin to change for you. They're not going to change for you when you're sitting home wishing and wondering, could life be different, right? Because a woman who is heartbroken, is at home, is alone, is likely not doing too much, is likely not planning for her future, is likely not planning for vacations. She's just day in and day out kind of doing the same things. A woman who is in love, a woman who is loved, is planning vacations, is planning their future, planning family parties, planning holidays, looking forward to life, planning what they're going to do at night, dinners, going out, getting dressed, shaving, right? Smelling good, taking care of ourselves. It's a completely different identity, but it's all perception, my friend, right? And this is the beautiful part, is when you change your perception, you change your thoughts, you change your life. And that's what I want you to know, is that you are not stuck, you are becoming. You are not lost, you are found, you are awakening. You're not learning new things, you're just remembering who you are. And sometimes it comes through the pain. Actually, most times it comes through the pain. Just before you think you're going to break down is when the breakthrough happens. So with that said, share, like, and follow. Please share this with family and friends, and I will see you on the other side. Have a great rest of the day. Mwah. Love ya. Bye.